Well, hello everyone. It's real easy to realize how long it's been since I've ever done anything. And normally you'd basically hear me say about how work has been killing me, which prevents me from being able to produce any content or go live or anything else. And that still remains true. But before I continue on, please make sure and let me know that y'all can hear me okay. Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Use your favorite emoji. Just do whatever it is that you would like to do to let me know that I am heard. All right. Very cool. Let's see here. All right. So I actually have a pretty big announcement that really has to do with why you haven't seen or heard from me in a long time. Last thing I posted, I think, was back in January, and that's where I actually posted my first long form video in such a long time. That was back on January 21st, and I haven't done anything since. Not only because of being busy with work, which is the norm, but I have finally decided to move. And so I've been really busy packing up my house, selling things that I don't want to involve in moving from one house to the next, and preparing this house to be put up on the market. I'm going to be moving further south in Texas, pretty much to where I'll be closer to Skinny Bob's Billiards in Round Rock, Texas, where the Texas Open is actually held at every year. The area here is that I live in is pretty much dried up as far as activities are concerned. Carly and I pretty much find ourselves not doing anything whenever we're off of work, unless it's a league night. And we do play league in Round Rock at Skinny Bob's on Thursday nights, and we just happen to notice that every time we go down there, we just have a great time. So it was our decision to basically say, let's move a little bit closer. So as much as I still want to try to produce content on a regular basis, I just can't. I mean, you can see everything that's behind me. I got to take all this down, pack it all up, put it up in storage as I prepare the house to be put on the market. I will still attempt to maybe just post some break and runs with some commentary that hopefully viewers can learn from. But the biggest benefit that I'm hoping to obtain from the move is going to be motivation. I'm going to be hopefully more motivated to produce more content for everybody because I will be upgrading my table to a 9-foot table. And that way the house that I am planning on getting, or that I would want to purchase, has to be big enough to be able to have a 9-foot table in the house, in its own game room per se. So that way it's not in the garage like my 8-foot table is. And so when I actually have a 9-foot table at home that I can practice on, that's a whole new line of content because y'all know that I have an 8-foot table. So things are a little bit different. I might have to really start studying breaks again on a 9-foot table. And, pretty much almost like maybe redo all the videos that I've ever done. Not really saying that things are going to be done different, like banks and kicks. They're not really done all that different from 8-footer to 9-footer to 7-footer, because you see me use the same measuring systems when I play my league matches, and those are done on 7-foot tables. But I've grown up on a 9-foot table, but then living in the area that I'm in that's dominated by league, I've been playing pretty much nothing on but 7-foot tables. And then rejoining the 9-ball league that I'm on and at Skinny Bob's, that's on 9-foot tables again. So I've got the bug to really get back into playing on 9-foot tables again. So when I purchase the new home, yeah, there'll be a new table to go along with it. All right, so that's the news on me. Like I said, so that's why you're really not seeing anything. I've been dying to want to do this particular live stream. I've just been so busy, and I almost didn't do it today because I was moving stuff. I some stuff I've already sold, so I was moving it moving stuff to the potential buyers. And by the time I got home, it's like, do I want to do this? And I'm like, you know what? I need to go ahead and do it and get it out of the way so that way I can let everybody know what's been going on, since it's been 2 months since I've done anything. So here we are. And all I have for you today, I don't expect this to be too long of a live stream, but I mean, who knows? We'll see. Is because we're just going to look at one match of mine. One match. This is not an APA match. This is me up against a top professional at the Texas Open 9-Ball Classic that was back in February. I've seen plenty of discussions on like AZ Billiards, on Reddit, and a couple of other things where people just wonder, how do I even play on a 9-foot table? Because all they ever see me play is on a 7-foot table. And I've posted some of my Texas Open 9-ball matches on my channel, but it's only like maybe 1 or 2 of them that I might have. So y'all don't really get to see me play so much on a 9-foot table. You've only heard me talk about how I grew up playing on 9-foot tables, but you don't really get to see me do it all that often. So this is all about being able to show everybody. For myself, at the time, I was a 638 Fargo rated player. I'm now currently a 642, so I'm steadily climbing the ladder. And how does a 638 match up against an 800 plus Fargo rated player on a stream table in front of a live audience? Because I will tell you folks, I've played in this event multiple times in the past of my Texas Open matches. Y'all have heard me talk about how I've played up against Vitaly Petsura. And Rosie Jarvis Ramirez, thank you so much for sharing the stream. I really do appreciate that. I do need to turn that down, though. That was a little loud. I don't know if that's going to be picked up by my microphone. So we're going to turn that down a bit. Okay. I've played up against Vitaly Petsura, and he's smashed me every time that I played, but I've never matched up with a top pro on a stream table. So even though I've played up against top pros before, playing against Roland Garcia on the stream table in front of the live audience was so nerve-wracking. Like, I can't begin to describe how nervous I was playing in front of everybody, mainly because it's just me. It's Lil Chris. I had my jersey on, so if people didn't know it was me, they knew it was me. And it's just like I wanted to try to make sure that all I wanted to do was put up a good fight. I didn't want to get just destroyed 7-0 because it was a race to 7 at this event on both the one-loss side or on the winner side and on the one-loss side. My only ambition was to put up a fight, to put up a good show. Now, I'm gonna let y'all decide if I did that or not. There's not going to be any spoilers here. And then hopefully at the same time, we're gonna learn some stuff. We're gonna learn some stuff hopefully from Roland based on what he does. And we're hopefully going to learn some stuff from myself based on what I do, because I will clearly try to tell y'all what I did and what I was thinking and how it all went down. But before I go any further, let's make sure I give my due diligence to my sponsors, because when I get moved and in the new house with the new table, I got to start making sure that I produce plenty of content for all of them, because I personally feel like I've been lacking at doing that. So to start off, we'll go ahead and start off with JFlowers. Y'all know that I use their cues. I've got nothing but good things to say about them, but that doesn't dismiss any of my old cues that I also have. The one thing I can clearly say that is just factual about JFlowers is how affordable their cues are. And the carbon fiber shaft SMO, the more I've been shooting with it, the more I've just been liking it. It's really a feeling difference in how the shaft plays with the tip that's on it, which is a Taom Fusion, and it's a 12.5 millimeter shaft with a radial pin. And it's one of those where I can tell you how great and wonderful it is, but you really just need to have it in your hands to know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't have a discount code with them, but I do have a referral code. That information should hopefully be in the description, but the more I think about it, the description might actually be wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste my referral code for everybody to use. And what happens is, if you happen to make a purchase from JFlowers using my referral code, I actually get a small cut. Of the sale. And here's the kicker of it. You might think like, well, what do I need a small cut of the sale for? And the sale is actually just for store credit. I don't actually get like cash in hand. I get store credit. So what the heck do I need to, what am I going to need store credit for? You might wonder. Well, I mean, truth be told, I don't need store credit. Because, as a sponsored player, I can pretty much just ask them for anything that I could need, and they'll provide. Here's what I can do with store credit, which is what I intend on doing. And that is, when I have enough store credit, then what I can do is purchase an item from the JFlowers website, jflowerscues.com, do a product review like I've done in the past, and of course, give it away. So what ends up really happening is you, the community that have actually purchased JFlower products using my referral code, you actually get to help the community at the same time, because the small percent cut that I get from the sale that goes to being able to purchase another item and then to give it away to a lucky subscriber, or for a lucky subscriber, just helps us increase the community. So check out their website, jflowerscues.com. Click on my referral link, and that'll automatically take you to their website, to where any purchase that you made is tracked by my referral code. And then therefore, if I do, I'll get a small percent of the sale. And when I get enough sales cuts, then I'm just going to purchase a cue that I haven't reviewed from them in the past, and then give it away to a lucky subscriber. So y'all can help me out as well as help the community out at the same time. So JFlowers Cues, everybody. Next, we have Onboard Sportswear. You can see two of my jerseys that are here in the back. They are the company that makes the jerseys for the Mosconi Cup. But they also make jerseys just for, your own individual pleasures, to where if you play on a league, or if you just want to have fancier apparel that basically represents yourself, they do customize them. You can see I've got one here that has a martini glass on it with the 7-ball, 8-ball, and 9-ball as olives. Dustin Dover, thank you so much for the 20 stars on Facebook. I really do appreciate it, bud. And then you can't really see the 8-ball physics ones here, but it's basically a picture of an atom that has the 8-ball in the middle of it. And then on the front, you can have your names. Like, you can just basically customize it to however you want. You can visit their website, onboardsportswear.com, or onboardsportswear.us if you live here in the United States, and use my discount code there, LilChris10. You can get 10% off your purchase. And then next, we can see that I have some Outsville Accu-Racks in my backdrop here. They are the company that makes the template racks for both 8-ball, or all 8-ball, 9-ball, and 10-ball. So you can have the perfect rack where all the balls will be frozen together and have a consistent spread each and every time. There's plenty of other products that they actually sell as well, because they do sell tips, they sell chalk, all kinds of different stuff. And if you've watched any of my straight pool live streams, you'll notice I have some. They're not reinforcement labels, but they're basically Outsville Accu-Racks, but it's just the hole as a sticker, and it's what's called their ghost rack. And I pretty much use that for my straight pool on my home table here. Visit Outsville's website, outsville.com, and use my discount code LilChris. That's LAL''space CHRIS. You have to spell it that way, otherwise the discount code does not work. But that discount code will get you 10% off of your purchase. Let's see. We saw Billiards. I do use their tips. I use their gloves. I have a leather pouch that I carry my chalk in. I have some of their shirts. You know, I've got nothing but good things to say about their tips, especially the Taom Fusion tip. Originally, on my Predator Icon 4.5 that I have back here, when I put the Taom Fusion tip on it, I actually thought that the tip was a little too hard for my preference on that cue. But for some reason, I'm not blowing smoke up anybody's butt here, the Taom Fusion tip on the SMO shaft feels completely different. And it's actually got a good solid hit. And I'm able to do everything that I want to do with it. So I wish I could describe, like, why is it different? Because I really don't know. Other than Predator Revo's for the Icon 4.5 is a 12.4 millimeter shaft. The SMO is a 12.5 millimeter shaft. So given that the tip on one shaft is just, you know, a 1/10 of a millimeter smaller than on the other one, I don't know if that actually has an effect, or maybe I can say that it does have an effect on the feeling of the hit. That 1/10 of a millimeter difference has a different feeling to it. I unfortunately do not have a discount code with TaomBilliards anymore, but I do support their products. So check out their website, TaomBilliards.com, and if anything, get their chalk, right? Because the chalk is amazing. Keeps your hands clean, doesn't allow the cue ball to get dirty. No residue on the cue ball, unless, of course, you miscue, but every chalk will leave residue on the cue ball if you miscue. But it's been by far the best chalk that I've ever used. All right, what else is on there? Already did that one. And then we got Moonlighting Billiards. They are the company that makes the cutout templates to be able to set up drills. And they've got 3 different types of templates. They've got their drill partner, which is a template that allows you to put 9 balls in a straight line, evenly spaced apart. Then they've got their road edition, which is basically the drill partner cut into 3 pieces. So instead of 9, you can have a line of 3 balls stacked on top of each other to create a 3x3 grid on top of that. And then they have curved templates as well. And I think in each curved template, you can have up to 2 balls to create a semicircle of a 6-ball semicircle drill. But if you just flip the templates around and put 6 more balls in, you can pretty much have a 12-ball circle drill. If you visit their website, moonlightingbilliards.com, you can use my discount code LilChris10. You can get 10% off your purchase of those templates as well. They do have a scorekeeper there on there, but my discount code does not apply to them. It only applies to the templates. And then I think last but not least is the ICA training system. I've been a user of that system for quite some time now. I'm hoping to be using it a whole lot more in the future when I move, so I can do more demonstrations of the feature. But it is a projection system, and Shortstop on Pool came up with a much better explanation than I did about, like, how do you justify the cost of the ICA training system, because it's expensive, right? It's expensive, but it's expensive because you're essentially buying a computer, right? And computers aren't cheap. You're buying some software that is placed on a Raspberry Pi that has an operating system, and then you get a keyboard and you get a mouse, and you have to buy a projector to go along with it as well. So all of that combined ends up being a pretty good investment and an expensive investment. But given that it's essentially a computer, that pretty much justifies the cost. But what are you also paying for? It's not just a computer, but the ICA training system allows you to project onto your table drills, polygons to create like landing spaces that you might want to try to position your cue ball in on different types of drills. You can create your own drills. It already comes preloaded with a bunch of drills that you can have. And there's also separate modules that you can purchase off of the website, to where you can just have just boatloads of drills at your leisure on top of the other features that I'm hoping to demonstrate here in the near future. And that, to me, is a better investment to have rather than just using reinforcement labels all over the place, right? Because you can set down reinforcement labels onto your table to do a particular drill, but then at some point in time, you're probably going to want to take the reinforcement labels off, set down some new ones to set up a different type of drill. So at least with the projection system, all you're looking at is lights being shined onto your table, and you can move these lights around, create all these different types of drills. You can create your own custom drills and even save them. That's the benefit of it, which I think is a really good investment, of course, if you can afford it, because it is not cheap. But if you go to their website, ICAtraining.com, I have a discount code there that gets you $50, not a percentage. It gets you $50 off of the purchase of the system that includes the Raspberry Pi and the keyboard and mouse cables and whatnot. And it also is usable against just the software itself, which comes on an SD card. The discount code doesn't apply to any other product that's on there, because like the extra modules, those cost $50. So it's not like you can use my discount code to get a free module. Like that wouldn't make any sense. Okay, so that takes care of all of that. So let's see here. There we go. I just happened to notice that there are some followers watching on Facebook. So I want to make sure I always praise anybody that's watching me on Facebook. So Tommy Sims, he actually says he saw me playing at Skinny Bob's. They were actually in the bleachers when I played my matchup against Roland. So thank you so much for being here. And then we saw Dustin Dover. I met this gentleman at Vegas. I believe it was when I went for my team event. Because I've been to Vegas twice for APA, once for teams and then once for 8-ball Scotch doubles. And my 8-ball Scotch doubles partner is even here. How's it going, Josh? So yeah, without further ado, I want to go ahead and let's start looking at the match, and let's watch how everything unfolds, and give me a grade of how I did against a top-rated pro. Let's begin. So I have to give my shout outs to Pool Action TV for allowing me to have a copy of the match to be able to share onto my social media platforms here. This is going to be a race to 7. There was a lot of stuff that kept flashing onto the screen. So like what we're actually looking at is an edited version to where all the flashy stuff is taken away and all we have is just the gameplay. You can see that from Pool Action TV though that we do have all of their sponsors that are kind of still here on the backdrop. I couldn't remove those. But Roland had won the lag. And here were the rules of the Texas Open 9-ball Classic. We were using template racks. The 9-ball was racked on the spot. And we had to break from the box, which turned out to be a rule that, as far as I'm aware, was sprung on us. Because when I was practicing this, I was actually practicing breaking all the way over from the side. Because I don't think they mentioned at the time of the announcement that there was a break box. But then we later learned that there was a break box. And we had to break from the box. So it's almost like Matchroom rules. But unlike Matchroom rules, we had the 3-point rule as well. The 2-ball that you see here had to be racked in the 4th row. Not in the back of the rack like some tournaments usually do. It always had to be in the 4th row. So it could either be here or it could be here. Which turns out to be very interesting if you know how template racks break. And I'm gonna tell you this because Roland knew what he was doing, and I at the time just was not very good at breaking from the box because I didn't practice it for this event. I was practicing all the way over from the side. If the 3-point rule is not satisfied, Christian Santana, thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. If the 3-point rule is not satisfied, and you've at least and the breaker at least pocketed a ball, they don't get to stay at the table. The opponent gets to come to the table and they have the option to take the table away. But let's say you don't satisfy the 3-point rule and you don't have a shot at the lowest ball. You can give the incoming player would have the option to give the table back to the breaker. But here's the kicker. If the 3-point rule is not satisfied, it does not matter if balls were made or if it was a dry break. If the 3-point rule is not satisfied, neither player has the option to push. And that's very important, right? Because imagine if you broke dry. Like what's supposed to happen when you break dry? The incoming player gets to come up to the table and shoot. And typically you would think the incoming player could come up to the table and maybe potentially push. But if it's a dry break and that dry break did not satisfy the 3-point rule, the incoming player doesn't have an option to push. They can give the table back to the breaker still, and the breaker's not even going to have an option to push. The push option is only available if the 3-point rule is satisfied, which I thought was weird. And here was another part of the 3-point rule that was also weird. It's modified. If you make 2 balls on the break, you automatically satisfy the 3-point rule. Kind of weird, but that's the way it was. So here's the kicker about the 2-ball being in the 4th row. Hopefully everybody should know by now that if they've been following Matchroom and with the 9 on the spot and breaking from the box, what is every player trying to do? They're trying to make the 1 ball into the side pocket. So that's at least 1 ball made automatically, right? Because that's what they're going to be trying to do. And then so to satisfy the 3-point rule, they got to hope that another ball drops. And then sometimes you can actually still get the wing ball to drop too. So if you do that, automatic satisfied. Because otherwise you need 2 balls to touch the head string. If 2 balls touch the head string, meaning the base of the ball doesn't have to be on the head string, but part of the ball could be overlapping the head string, that would count. So if you get 2 additional balls to touch the head string on top of pocketing a ball, or just making two or more balls on the break, you automatically satisfy the 3-point rule. So if you're always planning on trying to make the 1 ball, and if you're familiar with how template racks break with 1 on the spot, well, it doesn't really change all that much when you put the 9 ball on the spot. Meaning that the balls are going to leave the rack in the same trajectory path as if the 1 ball was on the spot. The only difference is going to be where on the rails will those balls hit. So in other words, what I can tell you is this. I can tell Roland's going to be going for the cut break like this. So his cue ball is hopefully going to do something like this and come back this way. And this is how the balls would leave the rack, even if it was racked with the 1 on the spot. The 5 ball is going to bank this way. This ball is just going to kind of just dribble out. The 1 ball is going to hopefully go into the side pocket. That's what he's expecting. He might make this wing ball because otherwise this wing ball is just going to go 3 rails around. And so will this one. It will also go 3 rails around like this. The 8 ball is just going to hit here and then bounce this way. And here's the kicker. The 4th row is just going to do this. Now, these are at least estimated paths of how these balls are going to behave. Clearly, if there's clusters, that's going to change a couple of things. But here's the kicker of it. If you make the 1 ball into the side pocket, here's the 2 ball, and the 2 ball is just going to do something like this, and we know the cue ball is going to do something like this, and typically the cue ball ends up coming back through the rack and stays around this area here. And the 2 ball is right here. What do you think's happening? You're pretty much setting yourself up for the next ball because we know where the next ball is going to be. That's very important because watch this first break. Did y'all see the 2 ball? Matter of fact, let's look at the entire rack. So let's start with the 5 ball. We saw the 1 ball go. Watch the 5 ball. See? Watch the 4-ball. See how it just trickles out, but it got kicked by the cue ball? Watch the 4-ball. 3 rails around and got kicked over here. Watch the 6-ball. It also would have gone 3 rails around, but there was a collision. So now watch the 2-ball and the 3-ball. See how they basically just go to the rail and come back out? And then what did the 8-ball do? Hit the bottom rail and then came out. That is consistent every single solitary time. If you're a knowledgeable enough player and you know that, that 2-ball is going to be in the 4th row, this is what you can prepare for. Because he made a ball, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He made 2 balls on the break, so he automatically satisfies the 3-point rule, and we know where that 2-ball is going to be. So you look at this layout here for a professional like Roland, like, what do we think is going to happen here? We're just going to gently roll the 2-ball in. It's like you put a boatload of inside spin there to hold for the 3-ball. Now he's guesstimating where he wants his cue ball to land on the 5-ball. Goes 2 rails to the center of the table. Brandon Schilling, thank you so much for sharing my stream. Really do appreciate it. Switches to left hand. Probably is just going to go to the short rail and come back up to the middle of the table for the 6-ball. To which now, look at the rest of the rack. You play a stop shot almost. 7's going to go into the corner. 8's going to go into the side. Maybe the 8 will go into the bottom corner. I don't exactly remember. So he went ahead and pushed to the rail instead of stopping the cue ball. Got some bottom spin here. Is he going to stop the cue ball? No, he stuns it over to the rail and back out. He has options here. 8 in the side or 8 in the corner. I'm pretty sure he might go to the side. And then 9 in the corner. So what do you think? What do you think the type of position that I'm in? Sitting in my chair, just waiting for an opportunity. Well, fortunately, this was alternating break. So here I am at the table. So, like I had described, I wasn't all too familiar with how to break from the box. It wasn't until like my 3rd match to where I finally started to get it down and I was able to start getting that 1-ball to actually drop into the side pocket. And what I basically started learning was this. I'm breaking on this side, so I'm using, bottom left on the cue ball. And did y'all notice the 1-ball? I at least made a ball. I think I satisfied the 3-point rule. Whoops. Yep. Yeah, the 5 and the 8 and the 1, everything's good. So I at least made the 3-ball. But look, where's the 3-ball? And what did I see? Roland broke on the other side, and I said, watch this ball bank to the side rail. And since I'm breaking on the other side, what does the 3-ball do? Banks over to the cross side, right? What does the 2-ball and the 7-ball do? They go to the bottom rails and then come back out. My only thing was I didn't make the 1-ball. But here's something about breaking if you didn't know this. And Sensei Nate already nails it. I hit too full. You're trying to make the 1-ball into the side pocket. So basically what ends up happening is if you miss on this side, you're hitting too full. If you miss on this side, you're hitting too thin. That's how you end up making your adjustments. And I didn't realize, like I said, until about the 3rd match that I was in, how thin I actually had to hit that 1-ball in order to start making it go into the side pockets. So I don't have an opening shot. I at least satisfied the 3-point rule, so I have the option to push. Actually, Nate, I actually found it to be a quarter ball hit, not a half ball hit. Half ball hit ends up still being a little too full. At least that's what it was for me at this event. So what did I decide to do with my push? Well, I didn't really want to do that. I wanted that ball to stay on the table. And I also wanted the cue ball to come up a little bit higher and just basically give Roland a long cut shot. Right? He's happy to take this one. So all I'm curious about is how is he going to attempt to get position on the 2 ball? Y'all see the inside spin he has on that ball for that to happen? Look at this. Like, my goodness. What a hit. Basically was cueing with something like this. And we know that the cue ball was actually supposed to hit the rail and come back out this way, but it still had so much spin after the hit that it breaks the angle and comes back in the opposite direction. But now, what do we have here? We either have a bank shot or we have to play some sort of safety. But for a player like that, a 1 rail bank is really no problem. So getting position on the 6 ball is going to be rather important because how do you transition to the 7 ball? And it looks like he got underneath the shot line of the 6 ball because you have this is the shot line. And so now if he wants, he can pretty much just draw back out over here to get position on the 7. Just like that. Pretty much the same thing. He's underneath the shot line, so he can just draw almost right back to where he's at, maybe about here for the 8 in the corner if he wanted to, or he can draw out a little bit further and like a stun to go for the 8 in the side. And he pretty much goes for the stun. So he's going to do the 8 in the side, roll the cue ball to the side rail, and spin it back towards the 9 for the 9 in this corner here. And what I thought was going to be a decent push shot ends up costing me another rack. So I at least got to shoot, or I at least got to break, and I got to play a push. So far, that's it. So real quick, because I definitely want to emphasize this point. Where's the 2 ball? And where does it go? We know where the cue ball, we have a good idea of where the cue ball is going to end up, and as long as that 1 goes in the side, this is why I don't think, or this is why I think that the current break box rules, even for Matchroom, will eventually change. I'm thinking maybe the break box will eventually get a little bit smaller. That's maybe my prediction. The question is going to be is like, if you watch the way Roland's currently breaking, is that firm enough? And look at that. I get another opportunity at the table. Let's see what I do with it. If I remember correctly, I actually wanted to catch this ball kind of thin, hit the rail, and have it draw back this way. But I don't think that's what happened. I think I hit it too full. Yeah, well, actually, maybe too thin, and it flattened out. It actually didn't come up this way. So from here, all I can think about is trying to play a safety. So not a great safety. I was kind of hoping that the 8 ball was going to be the imposing ball, but I hit it just a tad bit too hard. And I see a question here, so let me pause the video and answer this question. SoCal Texan is not trying to sound too ignorant, but what exactly is the difference between too thin and too full? I assume it refers to how much of the one ball you're hitting. That is correct. You're either hitting it too thick or you're hitting it too thin. And so the idea is that when you're trying to make the one ball, like in this side pocket here, if you're breaking from this side, if your one ball goes above the intended line, that's too thick of a hit. You hit the one ball too full. And if the one ball goes below the intended line, then you hit the one ball too thin. So you basically have to find that midpoint to eventually finally get it into the side pocket. And that's regardless, even if you're going on this side, the same rule still applies. If you go above the line, that's too thick. And if you go below the line, that's too thin. So I hope that helps. So I imagine here that I'm going to be greeted with another safety. And that's pretty darn good. All I have here is a one rail kick option. Now that 8-ball is kind of in the way for the perfect like midpoint kick where I don't really have to do anything. So I guesstimated kicking past the 8-ball and then using inside spin to pull the cue ball back to try to hit 3. But you see how wide I missed that? So I must have not had, like, I would have thought I was out to here. I must have had it like somewhere over here because I clearly just did not have enough. And look what ends up happening. I give Roland ball in hand with the 9-ball just sitting in the pocket like that. So how great of a mood do you think I might be in at this point? Where I really haven't had an opportunity to really do anything except for that one shot on the 2-ball. But I tell you what, I was making sure that I was holding it together and just wanted to make sure that I kept using every opportunity to the best of my ability. But we saw there what happened again. I still hit it too full, but I got a little bit closer. I think last time I hit like right about here. So I hit it a little bit thinner and got the 1-ball a little bit closer. Now I broke dry, but I also satisfied the 3-point rule. So now Roland may have an option to push out if he chose to. And come back with another lockup safety. I got to tell y'all folks, at this point here, I'm nervous as all can be. I haven't really had I haven't been really able to use my opportunities very well. So it's like the snowball effect is just getting worse and worse. Right? Because another 1-rail kick shot that I botched. And I'm giving Roland ball in hand here. So when you look at this layout, though, the interesting part is going to be from the 4 to the 5. Wouldn't we agree? Going from one end of the table to the next? Let's see how Roland decides to handle it. Okay, nice little stop shot there on the 3-ball. He's on the underside of the 3-ball there. How many would go to the rail on this one? This is something I instantly learned what's going to happen here. And I remembered this the next time I see shots like this. A lot of times I would think about getting my cue ball to the long rail where the 7 ball is, and then bouncing up to get to the 4 ball. But when I saw this, I made sure to commit that shot to memory. If the 3 ball was maybe a little bit closer to the side rail, then sure, you can use the side rail and spin up table. But when it's, before the halfway point, then perhaps just drawing straight down table is the best option. And here we got the nice high inside 3 railer to come back down, making the transition from the 4 to the 5. Pretty simple. Now this 5 ball could be a little interesting though, because he probably wanted to be maybe a little bit closer, but he handles it just great. Imagine some bottom spin here from the 6 to the 7, trying to get a little bit closer. Really doesn't matter even if he gets flat like this, he can just draw the cue ball back. Cue ball control, sometimes I do have a 1 rail kicking system, and I eyeballed them. I didn't actually physically measure them, because I do that from time to time. Sometimes I'll actually physically measure the 1 rail kicks, and then sometimes I'll just eyeball them and still eyeballing the system. But you can see the accuracy of when I just eyeball it. And look! A window of opportunity. Tell me this, folks. If you're in my shoes and you've done the same mistakes that I've done, is this easy for y'all? You can look at this on the surface and you're just like, oh, 8 in the corner, come up to the middle of the table, 9 in the corner, everything's gone. But factor in all of the other racks, factor in the pressure. Is this still easy? Oliver seems to think it is. Like I said, I'm as nervous as all can be. So I do attempt to roll the cue ball in with the outside spin, get to the middle of the table. And then all I want to do is just make this ball. And I'm on the board. As long as I don't scratch in the side. So far so good, right? I'm able to get on the board, right? So that makes me feel good, but like I still don't feel like I'm checked into the match just yet. It's like, Roland made a mistake, left me a 2 ball outer, so it's like, okay, I was able to maintain my emotions there, maintain my nerves, and I got a 2 ball run out. Okay, cool. But like mentally, I just don't feel like I'm like in the match just yet. So all I can do now is still just wait for an opportunity, because look at Roland's breaks. He's making the 1 ball. He's getting position on the 2 ball. Like he's got this breakdown pat. All right, just roll the 2 into the corner. Got the 3 going in the opposite corner. Probably going to 2 rail spin the cue ball to the center of the table for the 4 ball that's right here. I imagine the cue ball would land somewhere over here, I would think. 1, 2. And then here I would expect like a high outside spin shot, go to the short rail and then spin over to the 5 ball like this. And he's got an angle where he can use the side rail. I imagine here he's not going to want to touch that 9 ball, but he's going to draw the cue ball over to the side rail here for position on the 7. Oh, he's stunned over. Never mind. I probably would have hoped that he would have ran into the 9 ball. Now this is always this is what fascinates me. Look at the choice that he had decided here. How many of y'all would have done this instead? Shoot the ball in and maybe get your cue ball to do something like this. Or heck, I mean, like it doesn't matter versus what Roland did, which was to come over here. Like what's the toss up here? Does everybody in the chat here favor Roland's option, or do we see this, you know, these other two options as even possibilities? Because instantly I'm thinking this. I didn't think of this one like at all. I didn't even think about trying to play the inside spin shot on this one. But it's always interesting to see what other players are going to do, especially of this caliber. And just like that, Roland's at 4. All right, so still haven't really had that many opportunities yet, except for the 8-9 run out that I did. All right, my one ball's getting closer and closer to the side pocket, but I'm still not making it. Okay, it looks like we've got a safety here. This was my only thought of a safety back. Knowing that the 8 ball is going to help the 1 ball kind of stay there, I put a bunch of inside spin on this shot here to basically create this. Anybody see anything else? Like I didn't imagine that I was going to be able to hide the cue ball, but I at least knew that I was going to create something that looked like this result. Because the 8 ball was going to help keep the 1 ball at bay. So I can only imagine another safety is going to come back out. Oh, he got the 6 ball, or got the 6 ball as the opposing ball. But here's the kicker, folks. I can see a sliver of the ball. I can see a sliver of that 1 ball. You want to know how thin you can actually hit a ball? Anybody see the 1 ball move? Oops. Go back to here. Does anybody see that 1 ball move? Right there. You can barely see it move between this frame and this frame right here. I barely just nicked that 1 ball. So you remember when I talked about, like, I'm currently not mentally checked into the match just yet? Oh, I was hoping he was going to scratch there. You can see here, the reason why I step off to the corner here is because instantly when I looked at this, I was thinking about something like this to do some sort of a hit. So I was actually measuring the midpoint parallel kicking system. So I, find the midpoint between the one ball and the cue ball, which is about right here. You draw a straight line to the pocket that's going to bisect the two rails that you're planning on hitting, and then parallel shift that line over the cue ball. And then that's how I was planning on trying to hit the one ball. I didn't even think about jumping just yet because my jump cue was getting worked on by Handshoe Jump Cues because he was there at the event. I was having him put a Taom brake tip on my jump cue. So I didn't have my jump cue at the time. That's very important for some context. So I'm looking at the 2-rail kick. You can see I'm about to shoot it, and then I say, wait a minute, let me look. And I look, and I saw, wait a minute, I'm only blocked by a sliver of that 9-ball. So what do? I go and grab my breaker, my break cue, my JFlower red breaker cue. So this is a full cue jump shot. It's just not with a Mucci. And how strong is that? I'm lucky that I avoided the scratch. Clearly. I'm clearly lucky that I avoided the scratch. But I nailed that jump shot. I've got position on the 2. So now I'm feeling pretty good. Like that got my heart rate going the moment I made that shot, and I've got position on the 2-ball. But my 5-ball, or that 5-ball there, cuts off the 1-rail position that I would want to do to be able to get position on the 3. So using draw, just like before, I'm trying to draw up to get position for the 3 to go into the side. I just didn't draw it enough. Now I can still see the 3. The 7's not blocking me, so I can cut the 3 into the side. It's just a thin back cut shot. And all I'm going to do is just roll around for position on the 4, because that's where the cue ball is naturally going anyway. So the 4 and the 5 are right there in the same line, so I don't really have to do anything fancy with the cue ball here. I do believe I just kind of hold it. I'm trying to make sure if I stay on the same side of the 7. I'm pretty sure I do. A little bit of a draw, kind of a stun hit like this. And I think this one here was a slight topspin hit with some right spin to go around the 6 to play in the same corner. Kind of underhit that a little bit. Didn't really want it to be this thin, but the move from the 6 to the 7 is rather natural, so I don't really have to do all that much. Just a little bit of a high ball with a twist of left spin, so I can make sure that I take the side pocket out of the equation after I come off of this rail. Actually, it's more like this because I'm on the rail. And see, what am I doing here? I'm checking to see what my next shot is going to look like, because all I want to do is just roll this ball in. And if I'm comfortable with that shot, then that's the shot that I'm going to take, because maybe I might not be comfortable with this position. Maybe I'm going to want to try to allow the, move the cue ball and get better position. But I don't know that unless I go and check. And that's what I'm over here. I'm expecting the cue ball to be somewhere right around here if I just roll this 7-ball in, and how comfortable am I going to be shooting the 8-ball from this position? That's why I go over there and check. right? Because I could have pushed it to the rail here and then, you know, I don't know, come all the way around. Like that means I have to hit it so much harder. But why do that? So here, let me get to the short rail and then spin the cue ball back to the side rail for the 9 in the opposite corner. And remember, this is all from that jump shot. I am thoroughly checked into the match after that. Thoroughly checked into the match after that. And here was the funny part. One of my buddies was talking about how nobody clapped when I made that jump shot, but everybody clapped when I finished the rack. Now here's the cool part. Roland finally breaks dry. Right? I just got done making that jump shot and running the rest of the table, getting out of Roland's safety, and then Roland breaks dry. And remember, I'm checked into the match now. It's game on. I'm not really feeling very nervous. I'm just like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Stop shot on the 1 ball, instant position on the 2. And then from the 2, I need to make sure I get past the side pockets. That 3 does go into the side. I just need to get underneath it. Or is it 2? No, I think it's this. Yeah, I did this. Bottom right. That way I can come 2 rails around and get underneath the 3. Here's the 4 ball. All right, so all I got to do is just roll the ball in. It's going to instantly come off the side rail, and I got to make sure I get past the 6 ball. All right, everything's looking good. Here's just another rolling shot. I don't even think I need any side spin, and the cue ball is naturally going to come to the short rail and then out to the middle of the table for the 5 in this corner here. Now here, a little bit of a rolling cue ball, but enough left spin to get my cue ball back towards the middle of the table for the 6 in the opposite side. Actually, it looks like I have a little bit of bottom. There we go. There, I just checked to see, because I thought the cue ball was going to stop right here, and I thought it was going to be nice and flat on the 7 ball, so I tried to play a stop shot. But just that small little movement right there changed the angle for me, because I wanted the cue ball to be straight in on the 7. The cue ball is not straight in on the 7 anymore. So now I'd like to get a good angled shot on the 8 ball so I can shoot the 9 ball over here. So I try to hit this with some top left spin to get to the short rail and then come back out to basically get above the shot line. And see, I didn't have enough inside spin. You can see me shaking my head like, I don't like this. I want my cue ball basically somewhere like right here, so that way I can shoot this ball in like this and then just come up like this. Shoot the 9 ball like this. Now I'm sitting here dealing with a natural angle that looks like this. So the only thing I can do is I have to embrace this angle and do something like this and take the 9 ball down here. And that's what I end up trying to do. How many people like to shoot this shot when that side pocket comes into play? Remember, this is from Roland's dry break. Oh, it's actually here, but it's game on. It's game on. I actually got to listen to some of the commentary on here, and like the commentary was the guy that was commentating this was giving me all kinds of compliments, like pretty much saying like, Chris isn't going anywhere. Chris is fighting. But what difference does it make when I can't break? All right, so the only thing I can really hope for is, am I putting enough pressure on Roland? Uh-oh, right? Maybe I am. Maybe I am putting enough pressure on him. I don't know. But I'm getting more opportunities now, and I'm making sure that I capitalize on them the best I can. But look at this table. I can potentially make the 1. I can get position on the 2. I can't really remember if the 3 ball passes the 6, but then there's this 4 ball. All right, so the only thing I know that I can try to do is basically stay in my lane and just do the things that I know that I can do, and just hope that they work. Like that's about the only thing I can do there, is hope that they work. So I think here with the 2 ball from the 3, I just try to just draw to the side rail and then come back out this way. And I don't try anything fancy to get position on the 3. I just want to make sure that I can see the 3. Thankfully, that 5 ball was there, because I didn't get the draw that I was looking for. So now it's time for me to play a safety. And I can live with that. It looks like Roland's going to jump over the 6 to make contact with the 3. Fortunately, there's this ball here that blocks any potential possibility of the 9 ball going in. All right, we get a good hit. I almost got a lucky scratch out of it. And I have to take a second out of here to basically say, holy crap, there's over 200 people in here watching. I really do appreciate this. It looks like there was an instant replay in the video there. If you haven't done so already, please hit the thumbs up button, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, consider sharing the stream to your Facebook profile so your friends and family can get to know me and perhaps gain an interest in pool. And I want to stop this so I can talk about what's happening here. And then, of course, maybe share it to your favorite pool groups as well. If you're on YouTube, liking the stream helps me out in the YouTube algorithm, so that way more people can come watch me. If I get up to 300, I think that's just going to be exciting. But then it also helps them discover the stream after the fact. So I really would appreciate that thumbs up if y'all would. So here we are. I'm back to the kick again. So you remember the midpoint parallel shift system that I talked about on the last one that I almost did, but instead I decided to jump and run out from there. So I'm pretty much doing this again, but with a kicker this time, literally a kicker, because I actually thought that if I can nail this kick shot, I found the midpoint between the 1 or the cue ball and the 3 ball, which is about here. So I draw a straight line over to the pocket that bisects the 2 rails that I'm going to hit, and then I basically parallel shift this line to give me an idea of where I'm going to hit on the rail, and you hit this with about 11 o'clock on the cue ball. And the idea is going to be is that I'm going to spin over here and get behind the 3. And I thought I could hit the 3 to where I'm going to hit the 5 ball and the 3 ball will go into the pocket. That's at least what I was intending on doing for this shot. And after already making a jump shot the way that I did, I would have just felt so great if this goes in. And I just barely missed it. And I leave Roland an opportunity to win this rack. Let's see. Adam Cunnington, you're asking me how come I'm not at Griff's. I don't really travel all that much for pool tournaments. I work a regular 9-to-5 job, and I'm pretty limited with the amount of vacations that I can have throughout the year to play in certain events. This particular event happens to be in my own backyard here in Texas. It's only like a 30 or 45-minute drive just to get to this pool hall. But that's why. And also in the meantime, I'm currently in the process of moving, so I really don't have time to play any other types of tournaments as of late until I get moved into my new house. But now, after my missed 2-rail kick shot for the 3-9 or 3-5 carom shot that I tried to make, Roland's pretty much on the go here with this run out. So goes to the side rail and back out. That was a little tricky. Looks like he might have underhit that ball a little bit. You can see where he actually wanted the cue ball to land, which was right here. But he's already eyeballing for the 7 ball to still go into this pocket, so we can watch his cue ball go over to the side rail. And I'm curious if he's just going to stay above the 9 or go in between. He does end up going in between the shot. What a shot on the 7. Comes around for the 9 ball in the same pocket. That puts Roland on 5. There goes the 1 in the side pocket with position on the 2 ball. So it looks like he might have to just roll this ball in and just take a difficult cut shot on the 3 ball. Cue ball's on the rails, and that means he's automatically using topspin. So why complicate the shot? Just make the shot and take what you're going to get on the 3 ball. William, my Fargo is currently 642. At the time of this tournament, it was a 638. So not an easy shot here. You know the cue ball is going to hit the short rail, and he's going to spin back towards the 4 ball. Ooh, another window of opportunity. Another window of opportunity for me. What do I do with it? Let's find out. Lao Lan, have I ever had a chance to play Efren? I have. I actually have video footage of me playing Efren in 1 rack, which was just an exhibition. I just haven't decided whether or not it was years ago. I still have the video footage of it. And I just haven't decided whether or not if I'm going to post it, because all I did in that video was I broke and shot once. That was it. and then the rack was over. And meaning that I didn't win because I didn't make my shot. All right, so from the 5 ball, it looks like I just rolled it in with topspin, so that way I got position on the 6. But now the question becomes, how do I want to get from the 6 to the 7 that allows me to get from the 7 to the 8? So right there, this is pre-planning. I'm trying to see where do I want to be on that 7 ball, because that's going to tell me how I'm going to play the 6. And so if I land where I want on the 7, then I know how I can play position for the 8. So if you've heard the notion, plan 3 balls ahead. This is what they're talking about. Right? Push the cue ball to the side rail and back out. I just didn't push it far enough. I wanted the cue ball to be over here. Now I'm just a little too flat to where I don't have a choice or much of a choice but to go forward with some inside spin. All right, 2 rails to give me shape on the 9 ball. Stun out for the 9 in the corner. Jay Cornell, you're wanting to know what I think about Charivari getting 500,000 subscribers. I've met Charivari a number of times, and I can't be nothing but happy for the guy. There was a point in time where when we were both below 100,000 subscribers, I almost caught up with him. But then the moment I almost caught up with him, he just took off, and I haven't been able to catch up with him since. But I'm nothing but happy for the guy. He does this full time. He does YouTube or content creation full time. I only do it part time because I'm a full-time software developer. So I can't really expect that I'm going to be able to keep up with him. That would just be unreasonable. Oh, and I've got a little visitor. There's a new puppy in the house. Hopefully everybody remembers Link, but this is Link's little sister. Literally biological little sister. Same parents, just a different litter. And this is Tetra, everybody. She came in to say hi. At least I think she came in to say hi. Go lay down. I gotta get back to my match. But nothing new about my break there. I wasn't able to do anything with the break. Let's see here. I'm looking at the table here. Don't really see any difficult transitions here. Like here, I would imagine the cue ball is going to go 2 rails around the 9 and the 5. Expect the cue ball to come somewhere over here and go in line with the 4 ball to this corner pocket. That's probably done with some, what is that, top right spin, I think. Yeah, kind of like that. And the question here is, do you push the cue ball to the short rail, or do you kind of just maybe stun the cue ball a bit and kind of hold the position? Nope, you go to the short rail and back out. Draws off the side rail for shape on the 6. Now here, that 8 ball becomes a pretty big blocker, so I imagine you shoot this with some top left spin and make sure that you stay on the inside of the 8 ball and have vision on the 7. Kind of like this. So that looks good. And then, let's see here. Oh, hard stun off of the side rail for the 8 in the side. And then 2 rail natural position for the 9 in the corner. And with this 9 ball, that's going to put Roland on the hill. All right. And it's Roland breaking. That doesn't help. And what do we look at this? My goodness. What is that? 3 balls on the break. And he has a shot at the 2 ball. Puppy's down here chewing on stuff. I don't want her chewing on stuff. But now I'm at least fortunate that this 3 ball makes things a little bit tricky. And you can see Roland's trying to figure out what to do. The 2 ball is playable, right? That's not the issue. The issue is, what do we do with the 3 ball? Do we try to break it out? Do we play position for a safety? Do we play position for a 3-5 combination? What's the play here? See there? There's a glance for the 3-5 combination. Oh. I wonder what he could have been thinking about there. Maybe he was trying to break them apart? Or maybe he was trying to split them so that way he can play the 3 ball all the way up. So it looks like he doesn't like it, so he tries to come up with the safety. I'm going to answer back with another safety. This time I finally got a ball to be in the middle, which is what I was hoping for. You can see here Roland sizing up for the 1 rail kick. But he misses it. I've got ball in hand. And he moved the 5 ball out of the way. All right, so how do I play this? All right, so it looks like I'm going to follow up from the 3 to the 5. Here's the interesting part about the 7 ball. Here's the shot line. I don't want to be anywhere on this side because that means the 9 ball comes into play. All right, so I'm on the good side of the shot line because now when I shoot the 7 ball in, the cue ball can naturally do something like this. You can see where I wanted to get position for the 8. That one I happened to roll just a little too far. I definitely would have probably liked this type of position. So that way I can do this. We've already seen that type of position be played plenty of times to be able to shoot the 8 ball or shoot the 9 ball into a corner pocket. This type of angle, I got to flirt with this side pocket. I wasn't comfortable. I was not comfortable trying to do this, which is what we saw Roland do earlier. So in this shot here, I am bringing the side rail into play, which means I'm also kind of flirting with that side pocket. And I can get it back to being 1 game down. In an alternating break format. Now, at this point here, here's what I can honestly tell y'all is going through my head right now. I want to win this rack. I would love to get on the hill. I would really love it if I could win, but I was settled on let me get to the hill. Because for all I know, Roland can just break and run the next rack. But if I wasn't sending a message already after making the jump shot and running out after running out from Roland's dry break, getting a better safety and running that last rack, and here I am. If I really, really want to send a message, let me get on the hill. That's what was going through what was going through my mind. Here's the kicker. I make a ball on the break, but I don't satisfy the 3-point rule. So Roland has the option to come to the table. And what did I say at the beginning? If the 3-point rule is not satisfied, we're about to go check with the tournament director to see what the options are. If the 3-point rule is not satisfied, nobody has the option to push, including me, because Roland gives the shot back to me and I'm the breaker. Technically, you would think I should have the option to push, but I don't. So I do another midpoint parallel shift 2-rail kicking system. I'm going to try to come at the 1 ball from behind. All right, get the good hit. I just got to hope that I end up safe. But I don't. So you can't see it, obviously, on camera, but I'm like off on this side of the table at my chair. I'm literally sitting like this. I'm propped up like this. And just sitting there waiting, just waiting to see if I will have another opportunity. That's all I can ask for is just one more opportunity. Nice rolling cue ball with outside spin to get position on the 3 ball. Imagine he's going to do the same thing, bring the cue ball back between the 5 and the 9 for position on the 4 ball. Just like this. Maybe a little too hard, but it should be fine. I would imagine rolling the cue ball 2 rails around to get position for the 5 to go into the side pocket, maybe. Cue ball should be somewhere like over here. Close enough. See? Being very precise on where he wants that cue ball to be to get position on the 6, to also get position on the 8 ball. All right, so a little underneath it. I would imagine the cue ball is going to go to the short rail, come out here to the side rail, and back out for the 8 ball. Just like this. Like I said, the whole time I'm sitting in my chair, literally like this. I got my feet propped up, and like my elbows are resting on my knees. And I'm like, come on, one more opportunity. That's all I want, is one more opportunity. But I don't get it. I end up losing 5-7 from a non-compliant break, and I mean, I make a good hit on the 1 ball, but Roland was able to run out. Roland complimented me on how well that I was playing. He immediately acknowledged how I just suffered from the break, and that's where I mentioned to him that I didn't realize that we were breaking from the box, because I'd always practice breaking from the side rail. But I gotta tell y'all, everybody, I was just super pumped up after that match. I went on and won I think it was my next 3 matches, 7-1, 7-1, 7-1, and I think 7-0. And then I ended up playing a 700 plus Fargo rated player, and just got destroyed, and was eliminated. I at least made it into the money. It's one of the first times that I was able to finally cash in an event like this. I think I ended up getting, like, it was 17th through 24th place out of 95 players. So I was very happy about that, and I got like $150 back, which I think was my entry fee or something. So I pretty much got to play in a free tournament. So I was very, very happy about that. But I talk about being fired up for the moment there. Like, one of the best matches I think I could have ever had playing up against a professional like that. Dart guy, you're wanting to know what the 3-point rule is. Well, in 9-ball, the 3-point rule is a rule that was put in place in efforts to try to prevent players from soft breaking. And so the way it normally works, this is the real 3-point rule. You have to either make 3 balls on the break or get 3 balls to touch the head string, not including the cue ball. So if you break and make a ball, then you only need 2 balls to touch the head string. If you break and make 2 balls on the break, then you need 1 ball to touch the head string. If you make 3 or more balls on the break, then the 3-point rule is automatically satisfied. At this event, though, the rules were slightly modified in that if you made 2 balls on the break, you automatically satisfy the 3-point rule. And if the 3-point rule is not met at all, even on a dry break, there was no push-out option. And I don't think that's the original rule either. I do believe on a dry break, right, the breaker automatically loses their turn. So I do believe the incoming player would have the option to be able to push. Josh, Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for the compliment on how well I played. Like I said, everybody, I was asking for a grade. Like, what does everybody think? How did I end up doing? And I have another visitor. Here, boy. I don't know if the sister's gonna come back, but here, I know I saw Craig. I saw your comment about how I showed a little puppy on a little screen, but here's the big brother. Here's Link. All right, this is the big brother that we got from the previous litter. He pretty much plays he's a good big brother to his little sister. Go on, boy. Oh, now you want to see the puppy? Let me go find it. Okay. Now that I'm on the big screen, here she is. Here's Tetra, everybody. She's only 10 weeks old. She is just a baby. But like I said, biologically, Link's little sister. Same parents, just a different litter. And then my older sister actually has their older sister. So we in the immediate family we have 3 generations of miniature schnauzers. All right, folks, that's pretty much going to end the live stream for tonight. I want to thank everybody for being here. I really wanted to make sure that I was able to share this match for everybody, and then just inform everybody why you haven't seen much content from me lately is because I'm in the process of trying to move. I'm going to be moving a little bit closer to where this pool hall is at. This pool hall is located in Round Rock. I don't actually know if I'm going to land in Round Rock, but I might be in any of the neighboring cities, which could be Georgetown, Pflugerville, Leander, Cedar Park, maybe North Austin. I don't know, but I'm definitely going to be moving a little bit further south to where I'm at now, which means I can be able to play in more events, because I know, like in the San Antonio area, Backwards Billiards is the streamer for a lot of the Centex Predator Centex events, and so since I'll be a little bit closer, I might actually be able to make a couple of those tournament matches as well, which will be good. I'll be in a more popular pool area and be exposed to more higher rated players. I'll be able to play on more 9-footers. And so, yeah, and I plan on changing my 8-foot table to a 9-foot diamond table. So my house is going to be a little bit bigger. I've talked about that for years, about when I upgrade my table to a 9-foot table, I have to have a bigger house to put it in, because I want it to actually be in the house instead of rather in the garage. And so all of that is finally coming to fruition. So it's going to take some time for me to be able to get into the new house. I'm estimating a couple of months, because I got to put this house on the market, close on it, purchase the new house, close on that as well. But I'll be sure to inform everybody about when all of this stuff is going to be happening. And then when I get my new studio all set up, then we'll have all some more content to come, but on a 9-foot table as opposed to an 8-foot table. So I saw that I must have had close to like 300 people in here watching the match here. I really do appreciate everybody being here. And I will say one last time, if you haven't done so already, please give the stream a thumbs up, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. It really doesn't matter. If you're on Facebook, maybe consider sharing this stream to your Facebook profile so your friends and family can get to know me and gain an interest in pool. And then, of course, share it to your favorite pool groups as well. And then liking the stream on YouTube does help me out in the YouTube algorithm, so that more viewers can hopefully discover this live stream after the fact. With all that in mind, I'm pretty much going to call it a night, everybody. In the meantime of me trying to move, I got to start packing up all this stuff. You know, maybe I can just try to publish some quick break and run videos with some commentary or something. But, you know, I won't try to keep it a complete lull throughout the entire months here as I'm doing this move. So once again, thanks everybody for being here, and have a good night.